Yo, what's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning into my channel, The Stone Mandalorian. I'm the Stone Mando, or you can call me Cody, whichever. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a Marvel Legends figure from the classic Spider-Man animated series line. I'm going to be taking a look at Symbiote Spider-Man. And this costume was actually it was sometime in the 80s. I want to say it was 1984 when this costume was first introduced into the comics. And if it wasn't 84, it was sometime in the 80s. I want to say it was issue 253 or something like that. The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not a big comics expert, but I do know some that are my favorites. This was actually a fan created design. They were looking into a new design for Spider-Man, and a fan actually came up with this. They like a all black, sleek, kind of more stealth suit for Spider-Man, but originally he had a blood red spider symbol and the kind of under like the armpit webbing or the winged webs look or whatever. But this is a really sick figure, man. And at the time, a lot of fans when the comic came out, they actually did not take to the costume well at all. They actually petitioned and raised a lot of hell to actually have them change it back to the classic red and blue. So they ended up explaining the whole symbiote deal in the universe of Marvel and stuff like that. But very just such a dope and iconic Spider-Man costume, man. And I've been getting into Marvel Legends here lately. I'm mostly a Star Wars guy, as you can probably tell from my YouTube channel name. But let's not waste any more time and let's get into this thing, man. I'm really excited and super stoked to see what kind of articulation this has to offer for a Spidey figure. So let's do it. And here's Symbiote Spider-Man out of the box. And dude, I'm just so freaking stoked to have this figure. I spent a little more than I think probably retail. I'm pretty sure all retail for Marvel Legends like 2025. I spent a little more on this figure than I would have liked. Not crazy. I only spent 34 bucks on them, but I've been seeing this figure on Walmart and like Amazon for like 45, 50 bucks plus. And I just couldn't spend that on a all black Spider-Man as much as I love the costume, and it's kind of nostalgic to me because me and my brother grew up loving that costume so much. But that being said, 34 bucks to finally have this in my collection. I'm pretty pleased with it, and I don't regret it at all. I this figure's got some really intense articulation. It's got like boot slash shin like swivel, thigh swivel. It's got some insane butterfly joints, a really decent abdomen, and like a waist crunch. You can get some really cool Spidey poses out of this and emulate like he's, throwing hands or throwing like some crazy kicks or even web slinging or whatever. Like all the kind of this is a very dynamic figure, is what I'm trying to say, and you can pull off all the cool, dope Spidey poses that you want with this figure for the most part. And I've had this for about a week now, and I just find myself like constantly changing up poses with him, and I just really love this figure, dude, and super stoked to finally have him. As you can see here on the front, we do have some alternate hands. We have two web shooting hands, and then obviously two closed fist hands, and then two open gesture hands. And I just love the way that these look, dude. This figure doesn't have a whole lot of paint on it, as you can see. Just the black plastic with the white paint, but it is very cleanly applied. The spider on his chest and the transition to his back looks great, even among the split and the sculpt for the abdomen and the butterfly joints for his arms. I still feel like the white spider, the paint looks very good, and the eyes are also very nicely done. And it's something you don't want to screw up on a Spider-Man, any Spider-Man, but especially this costume, just because the white and black, those are the only two colors on this figure, so they just any kind of imperfections or discrepancies are going to stick out even more. And I just feel like they did a really nice job, clean job on the paint, especially like the white rectangles on the back of the hands. All are very cleanly applied, very straight and uniform. And just getting back to, I kind of got sidetracked talking about the eyes. The eyes are just very clean and tightly done. But this is a old. I think this is a little bit of an older figure. I forget when it came out. I'll do some research and post it somewhere like right here or something. But I don't know, man. Like the sculpt is pretty good. The musculature is there. Spider Man is not a huge guy by any means. He's definitely a lean, strong built dude, but he's not supposed to be some big, like hulking, like Thor Captain America buff bodybuilder type. But Spider-Man's always been a leaner type of guy to emulate that of a spider, obviously, because they're insanely strong for their in proportion to their size and weight. But this, like I said, I do believe this is an older figure, just from observe. Just I don't know what word I was going for there. What I'm trying to say is just through my observation, I can see these pins in the double jointed pins in the knees and the elbows. But with this being an all black figure, the pins really don't stick out that much. And I've said this on my channel before. If I can choose between pins and no pins, obviously I would choose no pins. It's just a cleaner, more real look. But I don't mind pins all that much, to be honest. Like, because just because of these pin double hinges, the articulation you can get out of these knees and elbows is way below 90. I mean, you can practically get his hands to touch the front of his shoulders. You can get these so deep that you can get his calf to touch the back of his hamstring. The kick out, just this really awesome articulation. Anything that you'd want in a Spider-Man figure, you know. So this articulation is, I guess I shouldn't say modern, but then again, it's got butterfly joints, and these are really smooth, fun butterfly joints at that. But anyways, I'm super happy to finally have this figure. Just very old school, nostalgic to finally have the all black symbiote suit, and I can't wait to get it on the shelf. It's just gonna pop against like my gray walls. I just love the way it looks against the walls. I'm gonna have to find somewhere on my shelf or display where his backdrop will be like clean, so that you can really see the outline and the lines and the silhouette of the figure itself. But let's get a closer look at the articulation and the sculpting and stuff. And we're just going to start off with his accessories here. And here is his web shooting hands. Very nicely sculpted. Very clean white on the back of the hand here. And we also have a fist here. Nice sculpting on that. Again, very clean paint. And then last one is another force gesture hand. If you've watched my reviews before, I promise you my nails are not yellow. It's just something that this light does to it. I don't know why they show up so yellow on screen. And yeah, I know I need to clip them. Mind your damn business. No, I really do need to clip. I've been busy at work though. Haven't had time. But now getting down to the figure itself. Um, so we can get so here's the ab crunch. You get some nice side to side here. He can bend over about that far. He can bend back pretty far. About that far forward. That far back. Get a lot back just because of this waist hinge here. He doesn't really want to come forward all that much, but a lot of back motion. Single joint ball hinge here, as you can see, and with these you can get a nice full T position, or if you needed to, you can turn these joints and you can actually get his hands above his head no problem, and they do spin in 360 degrees around, as well as his head. He can look down about that far. He can look up pretty fair amount. And here are those double jointed pinned elbows I was telling you about. And as you can see, he can practically get his hand to his shoulder here. So that's pretty nice. Way below 90 there for the elbows. And butterfly joints here. Very deep butterfly joints. Look at that paint, the way it lines up, just very cleanly done. That looks great. But so we do have butterfly joints. Get a lot of movement out of this butterfly joints. He can kick out straight out in front of him. He's also got a fair, actually not a lot of kickback. The way that the sculpting is, the way his ass is right here, and the back of his thigh is butting up against his butt right here. So that kind of inhibits the articulation a little bit, but he can kick right out in front of him, no problem. Again, double jointed knees, so you can get this calf to the hamstring, no problem. Feet go down about that far. They also come up a decent amount. And right here we do have boot or thigh swivel, whatever you like to call it. And also there's rockers on the feet. So Really, really well articulated figure, man. Very, very awesome figure. Everything you'd want in a Spider-Man figure, this pretty much has. So, I mean, like just look at the poses you can get out of this figure. Like, say he's like web slinging. Like, just look at these poses you can do. The way that he gets his leg up like this, that just looks so dope. Kind of like now, I could probably switch his hands out and like give him his web shooter hand, and that would look way cooler over here. But just for the purpose of posing, I'm just going to show you how it is. So another cool pose you can get. Like, just check that out, dude. Like, he's going to fucking throw a haymaker at you. So just really awesome posability out of this figure. Everything you can, all the different stances and positions you can get this figure in is just really, really dope. Try to get a little signature Spidey pose here real quick. But like, dude, just check that out. Like, obviously the ball hinges on the inside of the thighs here are a little funky, but there's only so much you can do to get from that. That just comes down to engineering and sculpt. But this is me nitpicking, and I really like that the legs can get in this position, like a jumping pose or something like that. But just really, really awesome articulation, man. I absolutely love this figure. Well, look at this pose. Look at how low he is to the ground, and it just really balances well. You want your Spider. He's a very dynamic, acrobatic fighter and character. You want him to be able to get into these crazy poses, and this figure just really helps you pull that off and emulate that. Like, this is a crazy pose right here. Like, it looks so dope. Like, look at that, man. That's fucking sick, man. I love I love this figure, dude. I am so happy. I don't even care if it's an older figure. I absolutely love it. I've literally been posing this thing so freaking much, man. I have not been able to put it down. God, I love this thing, man. Just giving you all a closer look at the eyes here. You can just see how cleanly they're done, and it just looks fantastic. Getting down to the lines here, you can see that the light shining off. The musculature is very nice. Some very nice sculpting here. Getting down to the thighs. Spidey's been doing his squats. Just wanted to give y'all a quick little rundown of the sculpt of the figure. Look at how clean this spider is, man. With the butterfly joints, this is fit in so well. I'm really impressed with this. I love the way this looks. Love that. Also been hitting his rose here. But yeah, that's that. This is Symbiote Spider-Man. Looks awesome, dude. And this is one of my favorite parts of doing my reviews and my videos. I wasn't even going to do this, but I just can't resist, man. Here's some side by side comparisons to give you all an idea of scale. But here is Symbiote Spider-Man next to Nightcrawler, and here is Gambit. Here's Cyclops, and here's Jean Grey. Here's Magneto. Got the one and only Wolverine standing in. Here's Bishop standing next to him now. Goblin Queen. And last but not least, the beautiful Storm. Well, yeah, that's the end of this review. That's pretty much all I have to say about this figure. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I'm not a huge Marvel Legends collector. I just started getting into it probably about 2-3 months ago, just because of the X-Men '97 reboot or the X-Men reboot, the animated show on Disney Plus. Growing up, watching it with my brother, I just had a very soft spot for X-Men. We both watched it growing up, like I said. And when I see this reboot happen and they were coming out with figures, I knew I had to have them. So I actually picked up a lot of the X-Men '97 waves. I think there's only two figures out of the two waves right now that I don't have: Executioner and Rogue, I believe. Yeah, Rogue. But I super happy that I say happy loosely. I really wanted to focus on Black Series, just Star Wars collecting. But that being said, I'm really glad that I ended up starting to get into Marvel Legends. But yeah, y'all, that'll do it. Awesome figure. Totally recommend it. Maybe if you go on Walmart right now, you could probably still snag them up for 30, 35 bucks. I definitely recommend having this figure in your collection, man. But thank you for tuning in to the video. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Give me a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope you're having a great day or night whenever you're watching this.